stock, crypto, credit moves. Good evening, YouTube. Back for another video. Tuesday night, April 26, 2022. All right. This video here, I want to go over credit, as that really is my primary source of income as a credit consultant. I know, like on this channel, I don't really talk about it a lot, but I'm very knowledgeable in the area of credit. I have several clients. So often, first of all, I'm not your financial advisor, and this is not a client of mine's credit report. This is mine. So I just want to put that out there. I'm not putting anybody's information out there but my own. So a lot of times, clients get so caught up in a credit score, right? And I'm not going to say that the credit score doesn't matter, because it does, but it's really not the most important factor when you're trying to actually get approved for something. And I think it's focused on too much. Credit score matters, but it's not what's going to get you qualified for a lot of the things you actually want. So let's go into that first. What truly matters. The 800s are just bragging rights, guys. I've had clients that had 800 credit scores and they can't get financed for a grape. They can't get financed for a grape because they don't have history. So what gets you money and what gets you financing is your payment history. That's by far the most important. That's why it's actually listed first here. Payment history. How long have you made payments without missing anything? That's the most important piece of your credit report. There's 35% of what's factored into your credit score is your payment history. And then credit card usage is 30%. And I've covered some of these in prior videos, but I want to kind of go back over this again because I think it confuses people. They get so caught up in the score, which the score matters, but it's not the most important aspect. So it's showing here that I guess this is all my credit cards together. The limits is up to 300,000 and I'm using like 2,500. So this is very important because it shows banks how you use money. They want to see how responsible you are with borrowing and paying off debt. Because if you can prove that you can borrow responsibly and pay debt back, they'll give you millions and millions of dollars. Like, you're not limited. The only people that are limited when it comes to money, a lot of times, are those that don't understand how credit actually works. They don't know how to use it. They're not using it responsibly. So a lot of people will have access to $300,000 and they'll have $150,000 on their credit cards. So your usage is too high, and it has to be 7% or less on each credit card. So you want to keep your utilization 7% or less on each credit card. So I'm falling short on one of my cards because I use this one and I need to get it back down to under 7. Most of them are paid off or down. On-time payment history, 100%. The average age is important as well. But that's the part that takes the longest to grow, is the average age. My average age is 4, so it needs a little. I know 5 years average is where you want to be, so I'm getting close. Another thing that hurts your average age is opening a lot of credit cards at the same time. So I have 7 hard inquiries. So I'm definitely trying to watch that as I go forward. But yeah, you don't want to open too many credit cards in a short period of time, because it actually drops your average age. Showing you my oldest to the youngest. Actually, I had this card actually added as an authorized user. That's another thing that's powerful, guys. With the credit business, so I do credit repair, but I also I add authorized user trade lines to clients' profile to give their profile history that it currently doesn't have. By adding that history, you're able to get credit cards and houses. It increases your chances of getting approved for loans. So that's just a way you can actually leverage your credit using authorized user trade lines. It actually helps add history to a young profile, but that only works if your credit is actually free of derogatories. So that's the first part in this video. I wanted to go over what is a good credit score. A good credit score is a credit score that has a lot of history. Like I said, recently, client had a 680. She got approved for her home because she had a long history of making car payments and she's paid off personal loans. Client B has an 820. She actually had a substantial amount of money in cash where she could actually pay for a house. But guess what? She didn't get approved because she doesn't have payment history. She comes from that era where you pay for everything in cash, and it actually works against you. So she had an 820, $500,000 in the bank, and she can't get approved because she doesn't have payment history, where the other client has shown banks that she's responsible making payments, where she closes on her house, and the other client that has an 800 with hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank doesn't. So your payment history, guys, is very important. The second part in this video that I wanted to go over is how do you leverage credit, right? So I leverage credit a lot of times. In these videos, you see me in various of investments. Well, a lot of time, guys, I'm not always, now sometimes I do, not always using my own money. Sometimes I'll borrow money. You can from credit cards, or you can take out personal loans to invest. You kind of have to know a little bit what you're doing, but leveraging money is how you actually get ahead financially. It's not always about savings, and it's not always about using your money. So let's look here and look at different options. This is just an example, because I probably would not borrow from here because the interest rates are too high. Let's see what other options they have here. All right, you know what? I'll just go and I'll just use something that I do often. All right. Give y'all a couple of things here. All right. Where is the Navy credit card? Here we go, right here. So this card here, I use this card. This card is actually reserved for my investments, right? So right now it has $201 on it, right? What I'll do is, let's say like if I want to get into, let's say like the last video that I went over, where I want to get into one of my crypto investments, or I want to buy a stock and I don't want to use my money. What I'll do is I'll borrow the money from this credit card. So let's say if it's $3,000 that I need, right? Navy Federal has leniency when it comes to taking money off of credit cards, where you can actually have what's called a convenient check, which you can just take the amount that you need off of the credit card, put it into a bank account, and the interest rate is like 6% or 7%. So that's a way you can actually go about funding your investments, whether it's the stock market or cryptocurrency or even real estate, guys. Like a lot of my real estate deals, which I don't really talk about because it's been a while since I've actually been in an active deal, have been fronted with credit cards. So credit cards can be an asset or a liability. But what I do when I borrow money from these cards, I have a strategy to pay it back in a timely fashion. So I would not put more than 15 to 20% of the available balance on this card. So maximum I actually would use on this card is about $7,000. But that $7,000 can be leveraged into cryptocurrency investments. It can be leveraged into real estate or whatever I wanted to do. So it's not always about having your own cash available. It's about knowing how to leverage debt and actually know how to use the debt to make a profit and pay the debt back in a timely fashion so you can reuse the debt. So that's what I do. I'm big on leveraging because the bottom line is if it's based off of how much cash I have, everybody's limited. So credit is actually especially in this country, it's the number one driving force. It's very important. So just leveraging yourself into better situations, it makes your life better. I don't want to make this video too long because I can sit up here and continue to go on deeper and deeper. I'll just save some of it for another video. I hope you got something out of this video. I'm not your financial advisor, but I appreciate it if you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, let's get our credit card history and credit card profile stronger. I'll talk to y'all later.